And before I get into this very important lecture, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my YouTube channel. And with that being said, let's get on down to today's very important lecture, which is why content creators must have a life outside of YouTube. You know, I've been wanting to revisit this topic for a while now. And, you know, I've been a content creator for a little over 4 years. My channel's been monetized for a little over 2 years. So, you know, it's been a little over 4 years since I did my first YouTube video as a content creator. So, but I'm going to talk about, you know, some very important pointers on it is why content creators really do need to have a life outside of YouTube, because if not, it can create potential burnout. You know, content creators may experience burnout and self-doubt as they try to navigate the challenges of creating content, especially if you do not maintain a balance. You know, this is real talk, people. This balance is very important. You know, another important point is, as a content creator, you always want to have a diverse income, meaning if your channel's monetized, my channel's been monetized for over 2 years, and yeah, I get a YouTube check every month, but let me tell you something. You as a person, you should always want to have diverse income, meaning that diverse income can come from a W-2 primary job, your career. It can come from a retirement income. It can come from money that you generate under your own business. You know, all my adult life, I've always known you do not ever want to depend on one source of income. You know, I fully retired September 2023 from state government, you know, after working 23 plus years as a licensed clinical addiction expert. You know, I get a pension from state government for the rest of my life. I'm a veteran. I get money from the VA for the rest of my life. So I have 2 other sources of income, not just my YouTube check. So I say that to say, you know, to make good business sense, if you're a content creator and your channel is monetized and all you are relying on is that YouTube check, which can fluctuate, that is not good business sense. You want to have a diverse income, rather it's from your company, or rather it's from a W-2 job or a retirement, some other source of income other than a YouTube check. Make no mistake, because I do not rely on my YouTube check not to pay one of my bills, people. Never have. Whatever money I make as a content creator on a monthly basis, I just treat that money like it don't even exist. I reinvest that money into my financial portfolio. But make no mistake, I do not rely on a YouTube check for my livelihood to pay my bills. Never have, never will, in any shape, form, or fashion. Bottom line. Also, another reason why it's so important, where a content creator, you must have a life outside of YouTube, is it is so important. It is so important, people, rural, to engage people in the real world versus engaging people exclusively on any social media platform. Engaging people in the real world, rather it's conversation, rather it's going places, going out to eat, places in the community, church, or whatever, school, engaging people in the real world. You might want to strike up a conversation when you meet somebody at the grocery store, the gas station, the coffee shop, in the real world without the cameras rolling. That is critical, to be able to do that, to be able to be comfortable to have real conversations with people that are eye contact, all of those basic social skills that we should have as we navigate through life. You ain't gonna learn that on social media. You ain't gonna learn real life communication. You're not gonna be able to see that person in living color, people, on social media. You only get that in the real world. where you can shake their hand. Real talk, people. So it is so important to engage people in the real world versus engaging people exclusively in the world of social media. Because on social media, people have the ability to only portray what they want to portray when they're in front of that camera. And this is real talk. Another reason as a content creator that it's critical to have a life outside of social media, because the social media persona is not the same as your real life social persona. It is separate, or it should be separate. You know, as a content creator, I have a social media persona. Anybody who watch any one of my topics know that my topics in my lectures are going to be thought-provoking, motivational, inspiring, educational, useful information to the viewer. I also may do shorts. Sometimes when I'm traveling abroad, I may do some travel abroad limited live footage as narrating that experience when I'm traveling abroad as a content creator. And I do limited narration of live footage because as a content creator, I'm going to write that business trip off as a 100% business expense. So that's the business side of being a content creator. But my social media persona role is not the same as my real life social persona. That is separate. Only people in my real world are gonna know, for example, what my middle name is. They're gonna know what my hobbies are. They're gonna know my, or rather, I'm married, single. They're gonna know all of those things about me in the real world, people. And they're gonna have my telephone number. People in my real world who are close to me in my circle gonna have my physical address. Social media ain't getting all that. That's my personal business. That's my personal persona, which is separate and distinct and balanced and separated from my social media persona. That's critical, people. And that's another reasons why a content creator should have a life outside of social media, because you got to embrace and understand the mindset that there's a separation between, it should, from your social media persona in your real life, in your real life personal persona. Real talk, people. It is imperative as a content creator. That's why it's so important to have a life outside of social media. It is imperative that you deplug from social media, deplug from that camera, and enjoy life. Enjoy your family, enjoy life, enjoy people without the cameras rolling. You got to deplug, and I will hope that you know how to turn these cameras off versus having that camera following you everywhere you go. Having that camera following you when you're inside of your home, or the cameras rolling. You got the cameras rolling when you're going to the grocery store. You got the cameras rolling when you're going to the doctor's appointment, sharing all of your sensitive, personal medical information. For real. It should be separate, because those two personas are separate, whether you embrace that or not. This is real talk. And another reason why a content creator should have a life outside of being, there's a life outside of social media, is because if your whole life is so tied into being a content creator, you ain't ever deplugging. You ain't establishing true relationships in the real world. You're so absorbed with the world of social media, with your social media alleged friends. These folks don't know you, never been to your house for the most part. You know, so if you're so involved in the world of social media as a content creator, you ain't got no outside life. You ain't got no real life. If you're so involved in the world of social media, it will have a negative impact on your real life social interaction, because you ain't interacting with nobody in the real world. It's going to have a negative impact on your interactions when you go to school at any level. It's going to have a negative impact on your interactions on the job. You know, there have been people who have lost their job because they cannot deplug from social media. They own that phone on social media. They're on social media when they're supposed to be performing the essential functions of their job. And because of that, they have lost their job because of social media. They don't have the emotional skills to deplug. It is going to have a negative impact on your home life if you don't have the ability to deplug from social media, to see what's going on with the kids, and to do and to run your household, to have those conversations with your significant other, to know what's going on under your roof if you ain't ever deplugging. I heard stories and situations where people have lost custody of their children because they were addicted to social media. They didn't know how to deplug from social media, and all kind of things going on under their household, and they are clueless. This is real talk, people. It is going to have a negative impact on all aspects of your life if you are not maintaining the balance, because you're not going to have those social skills that you're going to need to navigate throughout life. Rather, it's at job, work, home, school, social gatherings. Real talk, people. Because in reality, social media is a fake reality. People are going to only show the highlight reels. And you got to have the emotional maturity to be able to separate that and to separate your life from social media and deplug and deal with real life issues, rather they're positive or negative. Taking care of your kids, taking care of yourself, taking care of the duties of your household, getting up and going to work and performing the essential functions of your job that they're paying you to do. This is real talk, people. And you ain't able to do all that if you are so glued to the world of social media to the point where you have become out of touch, to the point where the content creator has become out of touch with reality. And I've had conversations with people who, based off my clinical impression, because I'm a licensed therapist, based off my clinical impression, that individual, that content creator has become out of touch with reality. All they talk about is social media. All they talk about is the social media gossip. All they're talking about is worrying about other folks' channel. That's the focus and scope of their conversation, to the point, if I were to ask them a thought-provoking question, when was the last time you sat down and have a meal with the individuals in your household without the cameras rolling? When was the last time you had a conversation with your child? When was the last time you went for a walk outside to the park? When was without the cameras rolling? And they looked at me to the point where they couldn't even answer that question. And I'm like, this is a real thing, social media addiction. You know, that's not my specialty as a licensed therapist. I still maintain my credentials. My specialty is treating substance abuse addiction if they have co-occurring mental health that's also affected from the substance abuse. That's my area of specialty. But there are licensed therapists who do specialize in treating social media addiction. But I got the skills to assess and make that referral. So this is real talk, people. So these are the various reasons why a content creator must have a life outside of social media. And to me, social media was intended as a content creator to put on these platforms, share whatever your talent is, your knowledge, skills, abilities, talents, useful information to the world, and deplug and move on, and to embrace that business model. Because in reality, people, it really is a business versus turning social media into something where it's following your whole life. Really? And to the point where you're out of touch with reality. Because in reality, we all as adults have responsibilities and obligations to take that to deal with real life issues, performing the essential functions of your job, running the functions of your household, taking care of yourself, going to doctor's appointments, eating right without the cameras rolling. That's real life, people, and it's real talk. So share this information. I've been wanting to touch bases on this topic for a while. And also, do not forget to mark your calendar for March 29th. I'm going to do a power specific lecture on how to develop a successful business goal. That is one lecture you do not want to miss. On March 29th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I have. Simple Fidelity. And I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.